All right, let's go to my home state of Texas in Dallas and talk to the great Kate. What's up, Kate?
Hey there.
How we doing?
Good for the most part.
Oh, no. What happened? What's up?
I'm just going to read you the email I sent in. That way I can, articulate correctly.
Okay.
My question. So it's not very long, but it says, I'm a Christian. I've been a Christian my whole life, and there are other Christians saying that the eclipse that's happening next year has potential to bring doom and gloom. Some articles have said that it will be earthquakes, famine, war. They also say we should be preparing for the worst. We should be storing up food and water and supplies. And I have been in just a constant state of fear since reading it. I'm stuck between feeling like I need to start growing my own food, which is an incredibly overwhelming thought, or that this is just silly and I just need to trust that God will take care of me and my family. And it has gotten to the point that I don't even think I want to have kids anymore. And we've been trying to conceive for 18 months. And I've been praying and reading, and I just feel really scared and really unsure of what to do.
So when you were reading this thing about the eclipse happening next year and the potential to bring doom and gloom to the world, I want you to know I raised my arms and smiled really big. And then as I heard you keep talking, I feel bad. So you're going to watch this, and I was kind of a jerk. I was kind of making fun. Like, anybody who's telling you that is full of more nonsense than I can muster on this day today. I don't believe that there's any possible thing anybody could point to in the present, in scripture, in the past, whatever, that an eclipse is going to bring doom and gloom. Okay? So I want you to hear that. Or here's a better way I can say it. Me and my family, and I'm kind of a prepper, me and my family will not be preparing anything special for the eclipse. Okay?
Okay.
That's my promise. Number 2, my wife and I waited a long, long time. We waited till we got through grad school. We waited for a long time to have kids. And we have 2 beautiful kids. And if I could take my head right now and stick it in my 25-year-old body, I probably would have had 4 or 5. Knowing what I know right now. And I've spent my career seeing the worst of the worst and the grossest of the gross. Okay? My question for you is, often when we get stuck in something like this, it just runs on a loop and a loop and a loop and a loop, like a roller coaster that never ends. Often when I've been working with people over the years, what I found is there's other things in their life that are out of whack. It could be how much money you owe and your body knows you're not safe. It could be you have an unsafe husband that you know you're supposed to be married to because you have your religious beliefs and all that, but man, that's not a very good person. It could be boundary issues with your family or your boss. It could be you have a calendar that's so packed. It could be any number of things. But if you step back away from this one thing, what else is going on in your life that is chaotic and anxious, that's stressed?
Well, I just got diagnosed with endometriosis.
Well, geez, Kate, lead with that. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
And it was completely out of the blue.
Yeah. Are you in pain? Or is it just
No.
Okay.
It's silent, yeah. And the doctor, she even told me, she said, I'm absolutely floored.
Oh, man.
She said this is one of the worst cases she's ever seen.
Good gracious. Yikes.
And I will probably have to have a full hysterectomy by the time I'm 40. And I'm 30 now.
Yeah.
So
Hold on. Don't.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, there's no so. Yeah, you just got to sit in that. You've wanted to be a mom for a long time, haven't you?
I've been scared to be a mother. And then I finally make up my mind, and it's like, oh, nope, you got to go through all this.
Why were you scared to be a mother?
I've had a very traumatic childhood, and so I've just been scared that I won't be a good mom, that I'll be like my mom.
I think you're going to be an awesome mom. Because I think that crap that happened with you as a kid, one of your life missions is that along the family tree that is Kate and her family, that stops with you. Fair?
Fair. Completely.
Yeah. I'm proud of you. So do you see if you back out? So one of the things we do with looping thoughts, we really try to solve for the eclipse, right? One of the things we do with looping thoughts is it's the way we try to address them, and that's whether it's OCD or whether it's anxiety or whether it's clinical or not, right? These are some of these behavioral patterns. Is we have like a house, and there's a hose in one of the windows, and it's just pumping in poisonous gas. And as a culture, we've been pumping poisonous gas into our house for about 200 years now. And we have spent bajillions of dollars trying to help the people inside that house with breathing treatments, with ways to clean their furniture, with ways to deal with the tumors that grow inside their bodies because they've been breathing this air. And nobody's just backed out of the house and looked around the street or the neighborhood and turned off the poisonous gas. That's a long-winded analogy to say this. Your body remembers the pain a mom can inflict. And then you married a guy, he's pretty good.
He's the most amazing man in the entire world.
So you won the lottery. That's not true. You earned the lottery. You worked hard for this guy. And then y'all started talking about families and kids, and your body sounded the alarms because your body knows that story. And it's just trying to protect you. Good on it. It's just doing its job. You're not crazy. And then finally, you do the work that it takes to wrap your head around, I'm going to be a mom. I'm going to do this sucker differently. And I know it's going to be hard, and I know it's going to be painful, and I'm going to have to deal with crap from my past. I'm going to have to deal with stuff that comes up in the future, but I'm all in. And then you get this kind of health news. So what I'm trying to tell you is I want you to see your house is full of poisonous gas. I want you to see you're not screwed up and you're not broken. Okay?
Okay.
I'm going to give you a couple of things that I did. Mine was the stock market and housing in particular. After the housing collapse in 2008, 2009, I went bananas. And I followed every financial conspiracy theory, housing conspiracy theory. And I created this weird map and all these Excel spreadsheets on how housing was going to collapse. They were going to have to nationalize housing and the government was going to own my mortgage. It was a whole big mess. And Kate, none of it was real. It wasn't true. And at the time, we owed a ton of money. I bought a house I couldn't afford. I was not in a safe job. My wife and I's marriage were falling apart. We had experienced infidelity. I mean, not infidelity, in an inability to have kids for a long, long time. And my body was rattling. And then I was blaming the housing thing. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe me when I tell you that me and my family are not going to be prepping for the eclipse?
I do.
Okay.
From what I've heard you talk about before, for sure. I believe you.
And make no mistake, I've got a prep plan for just about everything, but I don't have one for the eclipse. Okay? I will probably be out on my front yard. And here's the beautiful thing. If I'm wrong, I'll be dead. I'll be dead. Right? What am I gonna do about it? If doom and gloom comes after listen, if there's a cosmic event after an eclipse, there's not a lot John Delony's going to be able to do in a backyard garden, right?
Yeah.
And I have 2 massive gardens in my house. It's just not about this one, okay? So here's something that I did and became almost a sacred thing for me. You can do it however you want. This is just how I did it. I'm pretty lo-fi. I carried a note card with me at all times. And on the front of that note card, I was really struggling with ADHD and a bunch of stuff. I would write down my plan for the day and I would check it off. But I also kept on that note card, when I heard something, I have a real bad habit. I can walk through a room, like at a restaurant, and I'll hear one guy be like, well, yeah, I hear that if something's about to collapse. And my body responds as though that is fact and is happening in real time. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you experience too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now anytime you think about it, even your stomach starts to drop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I carried a note card with me, and I wrote down on that note card what was just said. The US dollar is going to go away. And I would look at that and say, is this true? Probably not. Maybe, but probably not. Number 2, can I control anything about this? Yes or no? Almost every time, the answer was no. And what it gave my body the ability to do was to A, acknowledge this outside of me, write it down. B, go through the mental exercise. What can I actually do here? Is a small suburban garden going to protect us if there's a cosmic event after a eclipse? No. No. Just not. A bunch of coffee and cigarettes and bullets aren't either. Those are people that watch way, way, way too much TV and don't live in reality. Okay? Over time, after practicing this, my body stopped being so reactive to things I couldn't control. And it was just something I had to practice. But right now, it feels good, doesn't it? It feels like you're practicing the future. Brene Brown says it's like dress rehearsing tragedy. As though you're going to think it through and think it through and think it through. So when this thing hits, you'll be ready. Can I promise you something? You will not be ready for whatever thing may happen in the future. You're just not going to be. So we're going to take it as it comes. All right. What's the prognosis on your endometriosis? Are they going to do surgery?
They can't do surgery. It's too far advanced, so they have put me into medically induced menopause.
Okay.
To try and starve it out for 6 months, and after 6 months, we will try again naturally.
Good wowzers.
To see if that works.
That's a fun way to spend your 30s.
Yeah.
How is your outlook on life? Have they already started the hormone treatments?
Yes, I'm in my 2nd month. The week I started, I did start going to counseling just to help me monitor all that, because they did say suicidal ideation was like a common side effect. So I'm going every other week talking to a counselor just to make sure that I'm not spinning out of control.
When did you start getting worked up over the eclipse?
A couple weeks ago.
Okay.
So I've seen a counselor since then, and we briefly talked about it. But like this morning, I woke up and I was like, "Well, we're one day closer." And I feel like I'm just trying to, like you said, it's a control thing. I think I spent so much time being the person that was in control, not actual control, but in control of how my parents reacted to things.
You had to be.
And so I think I'm just responding how I've grown up responding to things.
Yeah. And you can't control this one. And you can't control the endometriosis. And you can't control your husband's deep, deep love for you. And he's going to be sad. And you are too.
Yeah.
Part of grief. And there's going to be heartbreak, and there's going to be frustration, and there's going to be all that stuff. You can't control it. It's like being out in the ocean, man. You can't control those waves. The path through the eclipse as it is, I want you to use this word with your counselor. Say, I would like to enter into some exposure therapy. Okay? And that is just...
Oh, that's terrifying.
Oh, of course it is. Yeah, of course it is. But it's the only path. Your brain has pegged the eclipse, and anything about eclipse, anything about starvation, anything about calamity, anything about hurricane that happens this summer, anything about that is going to set that off.
Mm-hmm.
The only way you heal your body from getting set off, from trying to protect you, it's just doing what it was designed to do, is to head directly through the middle of that storm. That's it. And so if you had a phobia of snakes, what they would do is they would talk about a snake for a meeting or two. You know, talk about snakes, what you hated about them, what they looked like, what you thought they might feel like. Then the next meeting, they would have you draw a picture of a snake. And the next meeting, they may have you with a photograph of a snake. And you're talking about it. What would it feel like? And by the time you get done, you're holding a snake and you're laughing and smiling. You can't believe your body ever reacted like this. That's exposure therapy. It's just walking you through it. So they're probably going to have you do some things like Google the number of apocalyptic predictions throughout time. There's a lot. That's a fun rabbit hole to go down if you ever don't have anything productive to do with your life. But you can go down that rabbit hole. And they've all been wrong because we're all still here. And one day there will be one. There will. I'm confident. I'm also confident, at least the best I can, that it's not going to come on the back of an eclipse. Hang on the line here. I'm going to send you two things. I'm going to send you my book, Redefining Anxiety. I'm also going to send you Own Your Past, Change Your Future for you and your husband. Okay? And I want y'all both to read that book. And I want you to read the anxiety book because it'll give you some short-term and long-term things. It may be over time after you get your hormones regulated. It's going to be a while. It's going to be a messy, messy ride. That's a tough road to hoe. But it may be that I need some anxiety meds for a short season. It may be that I need to get another job, start a new exercise program, whatever that happens to be. But you're on a path. I'm really proud of you for calling. And I'm really proud of you for considering going to your counselor and say, let's stare this sucker down. Let's stare this monster right in the face and walk right up to it. And you're going to find out that monster was just smoke all along.